This is a glorious day. We're celebrating Twelfth Night, a play by Shakespeare, with some rather remarkable people. What I want to discover is why this is such a popular play, perhaps the most popular play Shakespeare wrote. Let's go inside. It's the first one that was put on the radio, the first one that was put on television. Why do people come back again and again to Twelfth Night? This is so good of you to cast as a new friend. No. We're relying on you.
Twelfth Night's endlessly rich. You can dig deeper and deeper and deeper into it. It's the play that he wrote, even more than Romeo and Juliet, which is absolutely all about love.
Then you're going to Play the Wells. That was an outstanding example.
I'm missing leads in Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh, yes.
I was desperate to do what I would call posh theatre, and I was offered the role of Fabian. It was so important to me because it began my love for Shakespeare.
Thank you so much for being here.
Last time I saw you, it's at your birthday.
I know. Being involved in anything to do with Twelfth Night is very, very special for me. Shakespeare isn't just a kind of stuffy bit of writing on a page. It's about real people.
Do you know some of these? These are leading players. Do you know Ross?
No, I don't.
I am Sigourney.
Good morning, nice to meet you. Hi. I think more than any other play, before or since, it fuses comedy and tragedy, fantasy and reality, light and shade in the most extraordinary way. It really reflects the human soul.
It's a profound and an extraordinary and sometimes dark and always thrilling piece of work.
If music be the food of love, play on. Give me excess of it. That surfeiting, the appetite may sicken and so die. That strain again. It had a dying fall. It came on my ear like the sweet sound that breathes upon a bank of violets, stealing and giving odor. Enough, no more. It's not so sweet now as it was before. O Spirit of love, how quick and fresh art thou, that notwithstanding thy capacity receiveth as the sea, naught enters there of what validity and pitch soe'er, but falls into abatement and low price, even at a minute. So full of shapes is fancy, that it alone is high fantastical. That's it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Would you like to meet the rest of our cast? Here they are, in alphabetical order. Would you please salute Stephen Boxer, Simon Callow, Paul Chahidi, Judi Dench, Emma Fielding, Stephen Fry, Tom Kanji, Robert Lindsay, Anne Reid, Tam Williams, Penelope Wilton. And here they come. Well done. One or two of them may look like animatronics, but these are the real things. And later, if you play your cards right, they may mingle among you, so you may touch their garb. We're going to begin by introducing each one in turn, and I'm going to ask each of them to tell us about, well, their first experience of encountering this play, maybe the first time they were in it. I'm going to begin myself by explaining who I am, and I feel this is almost like an AA meeting. So I will do it slightly in the manner of an AA meeting. I'm Gyles Brandreth. I have played Feste when I was 10. I played Malvolio first when I was 15. I played the sea captain when I was 20, and I came back to Malvolio when I was 50. And this is the bit that is like the AA meeting. I was adored once too. But this is a play that changed my life because when I was 20 and played the sea captain in Twelfth Night, I fell in love with Viola. These things happen. But I'm pleased to say that was when I was 20, and here we are 57 years later, and she's sitting somewhere either in the stalls or standing. You met Stefan. Stephen Boxer, where are you? Stephen.
I'm here.
Stephen, yes, show yourself to the public. When was your first encounter with Twelfth Night?
My first encounter with Twelfth Night was in 1998 at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre in Stratford-on-Avon. 1998, remember? You still wrote cheques, had money, pound notes, I think. Anyway, it was a wonderful production. I enjoyed it. Adrian Noble was directing. I was playing Feste. And the distinguishing feature was that Adrian and I had both become fathers around that time. And so the set was dressed in sort of it was like a nursery. Everything was in primary colours, blues and greens and bright yellows and reds and orange. And there was this huge, great, monstrous hedge and a fridge, which was like something from Alice in Wonderland. And we loved it. And in fact, I had just decorated the kids' bedroom at home in very similar sort of Dulux prime colours. And I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. For the most part, the production outlines the play in broad, bright cartoon crayon. With one was here, and I could have done without the all-male shower scene. I don't know how that slipped in, but obviously we moved on from infancy to sort of juvenilia. And then there's a scene which actually we are going to replicate later. I hope that's not a spoiler. In which Abe Ucheek, which was played by the lovely Lex John Quayle, and David Calder, who's playing Sir Toby Belch, and I, Feste, and we had this sort of riff on Hold Thy Peace. And so we graduated from infancy to juvenile, and we decided we were like naughty schoolboys who just had our first pint of beer at the Dirty Duck. And so when we did Hold Thy Peace, we all held our caution. Oh, we could do better than that. Hold Thy Peace. And so the double entendre became even worse, and we started holding these sort of imaginary palaces, and all around the stage. And well, God, it was hilarious. We had such fun in rehearsal. But actually, the school parties really appreciate it. So they are my abiding memories.
Well, it's great memories. And the school parties are important because we're here raising money for Shakespeare in schools. That's what it's all about. Simon Callow, your first encounter with this play and your first time of being in it.
Yes, my first encounter in the play was from the box office of the Aldwych Theatre, where I was the number 3. And I was shortly before I took the plunge and went to drama school to find out if I could act at all. I was uncertain at that point, maybe still is. But the production that I was selling tickets for, I was selling for the whole season, of course, but the production that I was selling tickets for that probably overwhelmed me most was of Twelfth Night. It was a production starring some of the most famous Royal Shakespeare Company actors of the day, Donald Sinden, most famously as Malvolio, but Judi Dench as an inexpressibly radiant Viola. And it was a production by John Barton, and it was designed by Christopher Morley. It was a very great period of the Royal Shakespeare Company. It was an extraordinary set, which was lit from beyond slats. And this proved to be amazingly versatile. There was very little, actually, by the way, of set dressing. But the curtain parted on, of course, if music be the fruit of love, what we've just heard. But John Barton and his designer, Christopher Morley, who had also lit the show, had created something of such extraordinary melancholy magic that one just tumbled straight into the world of the play. Richard Pascoe was playing Orsino, and he was a matchlessly eloquent actor. It was an extraordinarily beautiful opening to the play. It inducted you into this world where everything is about love. However strange and odd, and in the case of Toby Belch, dangerous, the love is, it's love all the way through, except for one character, Fabian, a character which is generally regarded as a rather unimportant character. In my view, Fabian is the absolutely most dangerous figure in the play.
Thank you, Simon.
And clearly, once Malvolio is gone, he's going to take it over. But the second, so we had this extraordinary opening tableau, and there were many, many wonderful tableaux through the whole show. But the one that stays absolutely engraved on my heart is, of course, the arrival of Cesario, or rather, of course, Viola. And this was another piece of Barton's extraordinary stage magic, is that one was able to go from the court to the seafront, and suddenly one was in another world with no real scenic change at all. But we were in another world, and then Judi stepped on and said, of course, "What country, friends, is this?" And again, one was transported. It was an extraordinary evening of being transported into spaces of magic. And this was the magic world of, it was as if she had walked into a fairy tale of some sort. And so the evening continued. It was absolutely remarkable. Donald, I mean, other people probably will describe what Donald did because it was so scandalously outrageous, as was his well-deserved reputation. But everybody in that production, as I recall it, had partaken of this magic spell, as if they had all taken a draught of something extraordinary. And I missed the actor who had played Toby Belch originally was Bill Fraser. Maybe some of you remember, very long memories, a show called Bootsy and Snudge. And he was Snudge, and he was one of the great comic actors But he was also a great Bernard Shaw actor, and I gather a great Shakespeare actor, and I missed him, which was a great loss. But the play kind of, as it does probably for everybody who's ever seen it, but in this extraordinary production, just seeped into my being. And so when I eventually came to play the part in Peter Hall's production at the National Theatre, I thought I knew it, but of course you never do. And I played Sir Toby Belch, and I discovered that Toby Belch basically was my father. A somewhat Freudian experience. But there we go. It was also an extraordinary journey, that production and that experience, and what a miracle that play is, I think. Well, all of Shakespeare's plays are miraculous in different kinds of ways, but the range of human experience in the play is just astounding, and I would do it again tomorrow if anybody wanted me to play Baby.
Paul Chahidi, it's your turn.
Hello. Yes, my first encounter with Twelfth Night was actually as a schoolboy in 1986. I was taken by my English teacher with a group of us. He was one of those teachers, the teacher you remember and who inspired you, to see the Cheek by Jowl production of Twelfth Night at the Donmar Warehouse. And I remember so clearly, as Simon has just said, being transported for the first time. And we had really great seats. It was not dissimilar to the intimacy of the wonderful orange tree. And I remember extremely clearly, I'm being sort of overwhelmed by the sexiness of the cast and the fact that Feste, the clown, was playing a saxophone. And then they all stayed on in the interval and mingled with us. And of course, the irony is now, if you know any actors, their worst nightmare is to be asked by the director to mingle with you at any bloody point. So that was my first experience, never forgotten. And a young unknown called David Morrissey was Sebastian that. And my first professional encounter playing a role was as Mariah.
Oh?
Yes, Mariah, in an all-male production that had various incarnations. It was put on by the Globe, first at the Middle Temple Hall, and I don't know if you know this, but the first recorded production of Twelfth Night was in 1602, and it was recorded by a barrister called John Manningham, and he talks about seeing Twelfth Night at the Middle Temple Hall. And we did a short sort of bijou 2-week run, and one of the performances fell on the 400th anniversary of its first performance, and we were performing by candlelight in the hall it was first performed in, with original pictures of Elizabeth I. It was extraordinary. Now, that production had various people in various roles. Our viola in that production was an unknown, again, called Eddie Redmayne, that was still at university. Now, Eddie and I and Mark Rylance were the women. Mark was Olivia, I was Mariah, and Eddie was Viola. And we had to do many things in preparation for this role. Judy's going to like this. One of which was we had to have our bodies waxed. Luckily not anything below the waist, but I had to have my chest, my back, and my hands waxed. Now, if I tell you I'm half Iranian and of that heritage, you'll understand quite how painful it was. So we were taken to a back street. I mean, it was really unhygienic. It was a terrible place. In the back streets of Southwark. Eddie and I, we were laughing, thinking, how bad can it be? And all the ladies who were waiting outside for their regular waxing were just smirking as we went in. And apparently the screams could be heard in St Albans. that was one thing. And the other time was when we finally we did it again at the Globe. We had a different cast apart from Mark. He returned, and then 10 years later it was revived with Stephen as Malvolio. And it was a wonderful experience. We started at the Globe, we then went to the West End, and then we went to Broadway. And I think it's one of the greatest experiences of my life, working with that cast, playing that role, which I'd never thought I'd ever play, and I probably never will again. But I was on stage every night. Now, Stephen will have many anecdotes, but I am going to mention that there is a point in the cakes and ale scene, which I think you're going to see later, where Malvolio breaks it up and says, "My masters, are you mad? What are you?" And then he has a little period where they start singing to taunt him, and he doesn't have any lines. So in our production, Stephen would come up to me every night and do a sort of dumb show of telling me off. And he would always, it was just the joy of every single night to see what he would improvise on a very, very loud stage whisper, I have to say. And we were on Broadway one night. I mean, I cannot believe that the audience couldn't hear it. And he would come up with different things every night, most of which is too filthy to talk about. One night, he just came up to me in a very loud voice and went, "I don't like the taste of coriander, and I never have done." Anyway, I'll hand over to you.
We're doing this alphabetically, so next up is Judi Dench. Your first encounter, Jude, your first encounter with this play.
With this play, my very first encounter, very, very lucky for me, when I was at the Ovid in 1957, I was cast as Maria, and directed by Michael Bentor, and it was heaven to me. But I just remember very, very well getting a note, which was when I was saying, "Get you all three into the box stream. Malvolio's coming down this walk. He's beyond her in the sun," all that bit. I can remember Michael saying to me, "Judy," he said, "I think you should sound quite, perhaps, quite so grand. Just not quite so like that." So the next time we came to do it, I said, "Get you all three into the box stream. Malvolio's coming down this walk." Yeah, he said, "No, sorry." And then I went to, and lovely hearing Simon talk about it, went to Stratford and played Viola in John Barton's production with Donald Sinden, who as I've told many times, did that wonderful thing of coming down he did it completely without us saying, coming down the alley and see, the sundial. And he came down and he looked at the sundial. And he looked at the sun and the sundial. And then he took out the most enormous watch to girls. Then he put it back, and then he moved the sundial. And then I went I played, yes, Viola at Stratford. That's in that production. And then I went to Nottingham Playhouse and played Viola in Nigeria, Ghana, and Sierra Leone with that company. With also the Scottish play, which we won't mention, but got a lot of laughs. So did the Scottish play.
You had a twin, didn't you? Don't go. You had a twin who looked very like you.
He looked very, very Gordon Reid.
And
looked staggeringly like me.
And you told
but all in the open air.
This is in Africa.
Very good. Yeah. Yes, it was 12th Night. And when we met at the end, it simply stopped everything. Everybody came running down and stood pointing to us like that. It's thrilling.
It's thrilling that we have you. Thank you very much, Judy. have another viola with us. It is Emma Fielding. I think it's even written virtually a whole book about it.
Well, I wouldn't say a book, it's more of a sort of slow volume.
Emma, your first encounter with the play and your experience of it.
I'd never seen the play before I was cast in it in 1994 in Stratford-on-Avon at the RSC. And I'd been so sheltered, I wasn't long out of drama school, and I just thought, oh, great, I get to do a bit of Shakespeare. So I arrived there and was rehearsing, and then someone, quite rightly, but not terribly helpfully, came up to me and said, how does it feel? I said, what do you mean, how does it feel? Because I was having a lovely time rehearsing. She said, you're following on from all those people. You think you're up to it. So I spent 2 days not feeling sick, all the rest of it. Oh my God, yes, of course, they're right. And so this couldn't continue. So I gave myself a talking to. I had a wonderful session with Cicely Berry, who was the most incredible teacher, and that session largely involved me putting loads of chairs on a table doing one of the speeches, but I think she could see I was quite tense. So that was just to calm me down a bit. And then I went and sat quietly on my own, like a bit of a weirdo, in the auditorium. And then there used to be this amazing space between the Swan and the RST, where if productions were happening at the same time, you'd all meet. So when we were doing Twelfth Night, we used to meet the Volscian army covered in slop. Then you'd have, Sir Andrew skipping through. But anyway, so I sat in the auditorium, oh my God, and I looked round and I walked round backstage all on my own, and I thought, and this is going to sound very odd, but I've spoken to other people about it and they had a similar experience, is that the ghosts in that theatre, literal or metaphorical, are really benign. And so rather than feeling that cat-like, oh, go on, see, show us what you can do, it was like someone had said, look, it's your turn, have a go, do your best, you'll never get it right. And I had the most fabulous 2 years doing it. So that's...
Have a go, see if you get it right. You couldn't just do Inane Sebastian or something like that, just a few lines in your head.
So one of my favourite bits is right at the end, the first time she hears her brother's name and she thinks he's dead. She's thought he's dead. She's trying to hide, dressing as a boy, being invisible, but of course becomes the most visible thing on the stage, most curious creature for everybody. But she hears her brother's name, and for me, it's like a confessional. The first time she actually says to the audience, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it says, he named Sebastian. I, my brother, know yet living in my glass, for such and so infabled was my brother, and still he went in this colour, fashion, ornament. For him I imitate. Oh, if it prove, tempests are kind, and salt waves fresh in love.
Oh.
Two of our special guests today were honoured in the New Year's Honours List. Can we welcome the first of these, Sir Stephen Fry.
Golly, yes, I always loved Shakespeare from a very early age. I don't know why. Something about the language just captivated me. And Twelfth Night I didn't know very well. I knew other plays better. And I was always confused by it. I thought the plot was so confusing because I would read it. I hadn't seen it. Living in the remote Norfolk as a child. It didn't come to the Theatre Royal, at least not to my memory. I saw many Prospect touring productions there, but not of Twelfth Night. But talk of Donald Sinden, I did go to London and I saw, when I was pretty young, I saw his Othello and was thrown out with a friend from the theatre. It's not relative, it's not relevant, but it was the way he spoke. It was, I'd just never been so amused in my life. You know that bit where they, quite early on, they arrest Othello and they take him there because how did he seduce this woman, Desdemona, but what black arts did he use, literally, I suppose they mean in that awful way, to seduce her. And he explains that all he did was tell about his adventures going around the world and seeing amazing things. And Don Simmons said, I spoke of that Antares vast and the anthropophagi and the men whose heads do grow beneath their shoulders. A friend of mine said, shoulder. In the use a woman put her arm on my shoulder and says, outside. We left going, shoulder. Anyway, sorry, that's quite irrelevant. There are so many reasons to love Shakespeare, and one of them is the astonishing variety and brilliance of the actors like the ones here in this room and what they do with this incredible play. And what happened was, I went to see Jerusalem, the Buffalo play, which many of you would have seen, and I had dinner afterwards with Mark Rylance at the Bocco di Lupa in Archester, very nice Italian restaurant. And we had quite a lot of wine, and we started to get rather heated about the business of who wrote these plays. And as you probably know, Mark Rylance claims to be sort of open-minded. Most annoying thing in the world. His mind is so open that his brain has left him. I got rather cross, and I read, Caroline Spurgeon and a lot of these scholars who really demonstrated so clearly that it could only be the man from Stratford and not De Vere or anybody else. And eventually, and Mark said, my goodness, you really do love Shakespeare, don't you? And I said, yes. He said, have you been in any? I said, well, at university, yes. So university, I was, because I'm tall and had a sort of darkish voice, and obviously everyone, universities 18, 19 and 20, I was always the king, the elderly, warty figure that comes on and blesses the lovers in Act 5. So, but I'd never done anything from Twelfth Night, and I said, I haven't done anything professional, any Shakespeare professional. And he said, if you did, what part would you play? And I said, oh, well, I mean, not having had any preparation, not having worked at the RSC, not being a proper Shakespearean actor, probably choose something very suitable for me, and I mean a pompous ass, basically. So Malvolio, a part like that. And he said, are you serious? And I said, well, yeah, that's the part I would. He said, you do know I'm doing a production, Tim Carroll's production of Twelfth Night? I said, no, I didn't know that. He said, would you be prepared to play? I said, Christ, I've talked myself. I said, yeah. I said, but obviously, I've got to see him, he's got to audition me. So I went to see Tim Carroll, and 2 days later, and found myself in the horrific position of going to rehearsals where balls were thrown and people were doing exercises. Even worse, there was music, dancing, not just for Feste, but everybody there to do a sort of gallias. And I hate doing it, because suddenly I was back at school in music and movement classes, always most despised in the world, having to sing, and I said, I can't sing and I can't sing. Oh, everybody can sing. So I came on course with The Perfect Dancer. I said to Tim, Tim, I really want to do this dance, and I really want to sing, but I play Malvolio. If Malvolio stands for anything, it's for the death of music, the death of dance, and the death of singing. He is a Puritan. He is leading the way against Merry England. So I think if I dance, I should dance very badly. As I'm sure Guy will confirm. But we had the most magnificent time. And I have to say, working with Guy, who was utterly brilliant as Maria, and Mark Rylance is simply a miracle of nature. I don't know how he did what he did as Olivier. It was simply incredible to be on stage with him. And it was a very exciting thing. And I shall never forget it. And the one thing I came away with more than anything else is how extraordinarily well made that play is. Its structure is beyond belief. You look at it and think it's like a ball bearing. How do you make such a thing? How do you even begin? The balance, the rhythm, the wit, the farce, the energy, and, as has been said by Simon and others, the love that comes out of that play every evening is simply it's enrapturing. And the experience of an audience, as we had in 3 different places, was a genuine privilege.
Did you have difficulty learning the...
Yes, I'm glad you raised that. If you know it very well, you will know that Malvolio has some wonderful scenes where he reads the letter that is planted in the bush and makes a fool of himself with the yellow stockings. Congratulations, buddy. Very nice. You're wearing those yellow stockings. And then he's in a prison. And I first, when I was in the Globe, Ian McKellen came to production. I got a note from him afterwards, very sweet noting, but he also said, I noticed you had trouble doing the prison scene. He played Malvolio, and I said, yes, I actually got the script sort of sellotaped up inside the little prison they've given me, this, because I can't learn it. He said, no one can. No one can learn that scene. No Malvolio has ever learnt it. And from the beginning, Donald Wolfett and others have always said Shakespeare never wrote that scene because it's unlearnable. There's something weird about the phrasing of it. It makes it impossible. And although I was in it for actually a year, I still relied on the fact that it was written up inside the prison. Most interesting. Anyway, so go home, look at it yourself, see if you agree. But anyway, it's fabulous. Greg?
Thank you. Everyone here has won awards, including Alexandra Gilbreath, who actually got an Olivier for playing Olivia. So, well done. Alex, are you here?
I'm here.
Oh, Alex, tell us about your first encounter.
I know this bit because this is about anecdotes, and I'm really sorry. When I played Olivia in 2009, I just had my second baby, and I was so excited to leave the house with clean hair. I don't actually remember much about it, but I do remember one time, and it was after the first preview, and the production I was in was in 2009. Richard Wilson played Malvolio, and Nancy Carroll was Viola, and a lot of the times, I'm sure those guys who have worked in Stratford, the first preview is often a lot of fun because there is an audience there who are very generous and kind because they love that first preview. So it can always get a bit scary. And I got told off for overacting after the first preview. And it's at the moment where Olivia sees, her Cesario, and then there's Sebastian, and all she says is, most wonderful, because she's got turban on, but I gave out real welly. and I was unexpected, because a lot of things that we find in rehearsal are not funny on stage, and a lot of things that when you're on stage are hilarious. Geez, I didn't think that was... So there was this wonderful response to it, and at the time I was thinking, okay, everyone strap in, get fun. And then afterwards, in the first note session, and Greg Doran was our fabulous director. He's like a Shakespearean oracle. And it was fun, we had a wonderful show, and there is that release after the first preview when the show that you've been rehearsing for 6 weeks is, you think, okay, we've got something here. And we were sitting there, and, I remember taking my notes, and Greg Doran, at the end, he closed his book, and he put his pen down, and he said, now, Miss Gilbreath, if that moment gets any bigger. And I literally said, when you don't censor yourself? And I literally said, but Greg, it's the first preview. Of course it's going to get bigger. So I was really put in my books. And maybe it was because I had baby brain, but in Stratford we have things called show reports. So I thought, well, when Greg isn't there, I'm going to go to town. And I had forgotten that after each performance, the stage manager writes a show report to the director, and that hates us. Oftentimes, I would get notes. I think, it's nowhere near Stratford. Because obviously, when I thought, Greg isn't now, I'm really going to go for most wonderful. I thought I was funny, but man. And I was constantly told off to keep, I think Greg is a very classy director, and I have a habit of finding an inexpensive moment. I'm sure that there are quite a few people sitting on the gold floor that I've also found regularly. So that's why I used to go for a cheap gag, and I was always told to keep it in a box because it's Olivia and she's classy. So it was a miracle I was there. I was just delighted to be in proper clothes. He was little at the time, so it's a joy. I just remember, I mean, if I don't remember an anecdote, I just remember the fun, because we had babbits. Anyway, I might have to depart in a minute because I've got to get a train. So I apologise if I slip away. I'm missing the quiz. Woohoo! I just want to say thank you very much for all you guys for supporting the Orange Tree, because actors, when we walk in this space, it's like we've come home, and I know we're all so appreciative how much you support it, because this is one of the best theatres to work in. Anyway, thank you both.
There we are. That's Alex, most wonderful, and they liked it because she won the Olivier Award for it. Speaking of this theatre, Tom Kanji is next, and Tom, you are Orsino in the current production.
Yes, hello. I'm currently playing Orsino here with Stefan as Feste. And, I first experienced this play with the Leon Garfield animated versions, if any of you have seen them. And the Feste in that, I believe it was still Feste, was Stefan Bednarczyk as well. So it kind of came full circle for me. But years after that, in 2012, I first performed it professionally and played Fabian. And the actor playing Toby Belch immediately came up to me on the first day of rehearsals, shook my hand, and said, "You're very lucky, love. They usually cut him." He then proceeded for the next 4 weeks of rehearsals to advise me on how to play the part of Fabian, which coincidentally and helpfully, I guess, all seemed to marry up with every decision he wanted to make about how to play Toby Belch. So that was a good lesson. And then years later again, I'm having a meeting with Tom Littler to persuade him to let me play the part of Orsino, who I'd hugely fallen in love with in that production back in 2012 at Ludlow Theatre Festival in the rain with the audience swimming around on chairs outside, and fell in love with this character of Orsino, who for me spoke entirely and utterly about every time I've been unrequitedly in love, and for any of us who have, and so deeply and so truly. And I was always wanted to play him, so I had this wonderful opportunity and to sit down and persuade Tom to let me play the part. And we'd got to the end of this meeting, and he talked about Stefan being in the centre of the stage on the piano, and the big question I wanted to ask was who was going to be playing Fabian, because I was just fascinated. And he immediately turned around to me, "Oh no, we've given all those lines to Jane Asher." He's not there, but I am, so thank you very much.
The Orsino in 1955 at the Shakespeare Memorial Theatre, before it became the RSC, the Orsino was Michael Dennison. The production starred Laurence Olivier as Malvolio and Vivian Leigh as Viola. Can you imagine? She also, I think, played Sebastian. Wonderful production, by all accounts, but it was very frustrating because it was directed by Sir John Gielgud, who you knew and I know loved, and who was very lovely to you, and he was a very lovely human being. Stefan will remember for his 80th birthday, we did an event at the Old Vic, and Christopher Reid, who was a friend of my wife and I, who had played Superman, wonderful, tall, handsome American actor, sadly died far too young after a riding accident. But he we persuaded him, because our children went to the same school as his children, to come on with the birthday cake, the 80th birthday cake for Sir John Gielgud. And Stefan was there ready to play Have It Put It To You, and there was Sir John, and on came Christopher Reeve bearing the birthday cake. And Sir John Gielgud looked at me and said, "Oh, Gyles, Superman, you've thought of everything." Sir John was famous for his quixotic style as a director. He kept having bright ideas and changing everything. And towards the end, they were almost at the dress rehearsal of Twelfth Night in 1955, and they had not had one run-through. So the actors all went to see Olivier and said, "Look, Sir Lawrence, we are really, this is difficult. We have not had one run-through." So John keeps interrupting. The moment we're doing a scene, he has a new idea. We must have, before the dress, we must have one run-through. So Olivier goes to see Gielgud and says, "Johnny, you've got to get this right. We're going to have one." He says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. There will be now a complete run-through. I will not interrupt, I assure you. I will be quiet as a church mouse. I will sit right at the back. I will not say a word throughout the whole performance. Please begin." And Michael Dennison begins. Well, maybe, Stefan, will you say the opening line of the play? No, do it for me.
Music be the fool.
No. Okay. That's my Gielgud story. Robert Lindsay is next.
Only because I'm following you, I take on the go. Now, Fabian, no, seriously, was very important for me because 1974, I was doing a TV series called Citizen Smith. And I was desperate to do some Shakespeare. And I was cast in the BBC Cedric Messina series of Twelfth Night, and they gave me the part of Fabian, with people like Felicity Kendall, Sinead Cusack, and Annette Crosby to play Maria, and Alec McCowan was Malvolio, and I thought, right, I'm now a Shakespearean actor, playing Fabian. But it led on to lots of parts at the BBC, 6 more actually. I did Elijah Mashinsky's Midsummer Night's Dream, playing Lysander. I did Jonathan Miller's Cymbeline, playing Iachimo. And I did Stuart Burgess' production of Much Ado opposite Sherry Nungi, playing Benedict. So I was off and running. And I'd escaped the sitcom thing. And in fact, I was invited to the Royal Exchange Theatre in Manchester, where I continued my posh theatre acting. And I was then playing Hamlet. And my Hamlet was seen by none other than Sir Laurence Olivier. Oh, yeah? Yes. Oh, yes. And he, in Michael Elliott, cast me as Edmund in his Lear, which was being filmed at Granada Studios. And so I thought, well, this is it. I've now escaped Wolfie Smith. And we were in Granada Studios, and Larry, as I now called him, was in the makeup room. The makeup room at Granada Studios, as many of you know, or the actors were, was huge. There was lots of mirrors everywhere. In the makeup room were TV presenters and variety performers and chorus girls and sports presenters and the cast of Coronation Street. And at the other end was the cast of King Lear. And the crew had built Larry a throne for his makeup. And he was wearing his crown, and he was told that on the opposite side of the makeup room was Doris Speed, who played Annie Walker in Coronation Street. And he got up from his throne and he walked, the whole makeup room was absolute. Every time he moved, Laurence Olivier was moving. And he walked down the makeup room and he looked in Doris Speed's mirror and he said, "My darling, on behalf of the entire cast of King Lear, and in fact the entire theatrical community, I'd like to congratulate you on a performance that you have given the British people with such love, warmth, and humour. And we have taken you to our hearts, and I shall watch your career until my eyes no longer stand their glare. And he walked back to his throne. Place was silent. And Doris Speed looked in her mirror and said to her makeup artist, "Who's that?" Hey. So I don't have any other stories.
Sitting over here, we have the other person who was honoured at the beginning of the year. She is now Commander of the Order of the British Empire, Anne Reid.
I actually feel like a bit of a phony because I've only ever done literally one performance, one night in a Shakespeare play in 1958. See, I'm terribly old. I should be in the British Museum. There was a very famous actor-manager called Robert Atkins who ran the Regent's Park Theatre, and that year they were doing Twelfth Night. And they had been asked to give at the end of the season to give a performance in the Lebanon at the temples of Baalbek, in the Baalbek Festival. And the girl who was playing Maria had backed out. She was got another job. And I was at that time working as a waitress in Kensington, so I went and auditioned, and I got it. And so we flew to Beirut. And I remember also in the company was Sybil Thorndike's brother. You remember Sybil?
Russell.
Oh, Russell, yes, Russell Thorndike was playing Aguchi. And on the plane over, he regaled me with stories. He was then a very, very old man, and he regaled me with stories. He'd actually worked with Beerbohm Tree when he was very young, and he started telling me stories about how Beerbohm Tree had lots of live trained animals on the stage, and I was hypnotized, you know, because it was only when we got to trained woodlice that I realized I'd been taken it for a ride. We performed in Baalbek. It's beautiful, were beautiful temples. I think they've all been bombed now, up in the hills above Beirut. And we did 2 performances. We did Hamlet one night. I had nothing to do in that. I just put a prop on and so floated around. And on the second night, we did Twelfth Night, and I played Maria. And I can't remember anything about it at all, except that after the production, it was a beautiful hot night, and we had, you know, our backdrop was the sky and the stars. It was gorgeous. And at the end of the performance, we went up. We didn't go back to our hotels. We went up onto the hillside, and we sat and watched the dawn come up. And there was wine, you know, going around. And there was 2 slightly dodgy Lebanese gentlemen who were passing substances round. And I remember smoking something. I remember eating something. You don't think I snorted anything. The next 48 hours, I was so ill. Get the doctor too, but I was really, really ill. So I like to think that play Maria in Twelfth Night sort of saved me from an impending, what could have been a serious drug habit.
I'm hoping to persuade Annie maybe to sing for us later, but we go on through our alphabet, and I think it's up to Tam next. This is Tam Williams. You played not Mariah, but Viola, I think.
Yeah.
When was this?
In 2007. And my first encounter with the play was actually watching Emma being wonderful at Stratford in my first season there. And what struck me about her performance in the play was the fragility and the sensuousness of the language and the relationship she had with Clive Wood, who was wonderful as Orsino. And so that was my first encounter with the play, and I didn't know that I would come to meet it with Ed Hall's wonderful company, Propeller, in 2007. But before then, I'd had a practice at playing a woman in this all-male company. In The Winter's Tale, playing Perdita and her brother Mamilius and Time. And it was lovely because I was able to kind of use my sister, Amy, as a kind of template for what that is. But the language makes everything happen. You just have to say it, and you can be a woman, or you can be Fabian. So the great thing about the company Propeller is that you can sack yourself. Once you're in the company, you can either choose to play these wonderful parts and tour everywhere around the world in these glorious theatres in this country, or not. And so Ed asked me to play Viola, and I had a go, so I thought I would like to try this. And I also had got Emma's book that is wonderful on the play, and in particular on playing Viola. So I used this book to kind of find a way in, and obviously the play, and my sister. And it was a glorious year of playing it. And Ed's ethos is always the ensemble. The company is everything. The play is the star. And every part in Twelfth Night is so valuable to the components, as Stephen said. It's all so important. They all have to be on the best team, like a Liverpool team in the 70s, or now, being a Liverpool fan. You all have to play your game. And he made a speech before we opened at the Old Vic, which was quite daunting because Vivian Lee had played Viola there and many other great actresses. And he talked about Tyrone Guthrie's company. And it was a great sort of like a Henry V speech, if you like. But the couple of lines that I always think of with her, because it's always service. So Viola, and this production that Tom's in here is glorious. And it is like visiting an old friend and a great album that you love, to hear it, to watch it close up in this space. So it's always great to revisit it. But the service that Viola and the displacement that she has, having lost the grief that she is suffering, is all bundled up, I think, into this line in Act 2, Scene 4, where she says, I am all the daughters of my father's house, and all the brothers too, and yet I know not. Sir, shall I to this lady? And she completely doesn't hang about. The line ending is there, and then she just says, Sir, shall I to this lady? And she just gets on with her job of service. And I love that about her. And I always am grateful to Emma and Ed for giving me the opportunity to play it. But there it is, and thank you.
And finally, because I know we're all gearing up for the quiz, and finally we turn to Dame Penelope Wilton.
I'm sorry to end this on a downward. But I seen the play many times and enjoyed it immensely. And I was in probably the worst production, right? And I played Mariah, and I got reviews that said Penelope Wilton plays Maria like a speaker-in on Radio 3. And the reason I did that was Sir Toby Belch was absolutely horrible. Every time I passed him, he used to smack my bottom. And I got more and more annoyed with this and more upper class. I did sound exactly like someone on radio. Now we're going to have a concert from Wigmore Hall. And I sounded exactly like that. So it's true, I did. But my best friend, Roy, was playing Feste, and we thought we'd get our own back on, well, I didn't actually, but they did. Fabian and my friend Roy, who was playing Feste, who also, actually, we were three witches together in Macbeth. I'm allowed to say that because I'm in the theatre, I'm not backstage, actually. And he was quite calm, and he used to put his foot up on the witch's cauldron and say things like, her hubby's to Aleppo gone master of the tiger, instead of her husband's to Aleppo, just to make us all brawl laugh. Anyway, so we thought we'd get our own back on the Sir Toby. I hate to mention his name because he might be sitting there. So he used to make his entrance from his dressing room straight onto the stage, through the pass door, and he used to time it so he came on. Well, one night, they put a broom through the door so as he could get through the pass. But unfortunately, I was on the stage, and there were a lot of box trees, so I didn't quite know what to do. So what I did, it's making me feel really terrible now. What I did was I skipped on these box trees for quite a long time. While the audience were amazed. And I was by myself. I let out Fabian. They should have been there too, but anyhow, finally he came on in a terrible rush and smacked my bottom. It was awful. But there was one night when Sybil Thorndike was sitting out front. You know what she was doing in Nottingham Playhouse. And I'd been to see, I was telling this story to Johnny Moffat, who I'd also seen, as in fact, in a lovely production of Twelfth Night when he was playing Malvolio. And he told me a wonderful story which has got nothing to do with Twelfth Night, but I will pass it on. That he was in a touring production with Sybil Thorndike, and they became great friends, and they were touring round, and they used to play pranks on one another, because she was great fun. And one day, he went into her dressing room before she came off and hid in the cupboard. And he was going to jump out and say boo when he came in, and it was the interval. So anyhow, so he got into the cupboard, and she came into the room, and she dashed in the room and took down her knickers and sat on the sink and had a pee. And he was in the cupboard. So then he had to stay in the cupboard. He couldn't come out of the cupboard because she would have known that he thought. So anyhow, the dresser came in. She said, "Yes, darling, I'd love a cup of tea." And that was 15 minutes. And then she lay down, and he was still in the cupboard. Then 15 minutes, and they were at first on after the interval. Beginners, please. Miss Thorndike, Mr. Moffat, and so on. So he waited for her to go, and then she didn't go straight away. And they were saying, Miss Thorndike, please come to the stage. So they went. And then Mr. Moffat to me thought, I can't be seen coming out of the dressing room. So what I'll do is I'll creep out and go out of the stage door, because they were on tour, and I'll come in the stage door. And so he did that. So she went on the stage, and then he went out of the stage door, and he came in. They said, "Mr. Moffat, you're off, you're off." And he came in and said, "I'm terribly sorry, But I've only just got to, I took a wrong turning out of the theatre, and I'm coming back in now. I was terribly sorry. So he got away with it. So Johnny Moffat was a wonderful Malvolio, just to end up. And Sybil Thorndike, I don't know whether she was ever in the play. But she was a wonderful actress. Obviously, was caught short. That's all I can tell you about Twelfth Night, or Sybil Thorndike, or Johnny Moffat. Yes.
The last play that Sybil Thorndike was in on stage was called The Old Lady. It's the play that opened the Thorndike Theatre. And she played the part of the old lady. She was then 90 or in her early 90s. And at the final run-through, she rather surprised the young director, the Tom Little of the story, who was at the back of the auditorium, when she comes onto the stage like this. Bear in mind, she is 92, on she comes, like this. And when she's got halfway across the stage, the young director calls out from the back of the auditorium, he goes, "Forgive me for interrupting, Dame Sybil, but can I ask what you think you're doing?" And Dame Sybil looked up and said, "Yes, dear, I'm doing what it says in the script." And he says, "Well, what does it say in the script?" "Well, it says in the script, the old lady comes on and hoovers." Hovers. We're going to do a little scene from Twelfth Night now. We're going to improvise it. We're going to do it with scripts just to remind us a little bit of moment for the play before we have the quiz. And the scene we've chosen is known as the Cakes and Ale scene. We've got a Sir Toby here. We've got a... What part are you going to play?
Festy.
You're going to play Festy. We've got a Sir Andrew. We need a Sir Andrew. You're going to be at Tam. You can be Sir Andrew. Okay. So at Malvolio, we've got a Malvolio. So just give it a go to remind us what the play is in part about. Just go.
Approach, Sir Andrew. Not to be abed after midnight is to be up betimes, and tiluculo surgery thou knowest.
Nay, my troth, I know not, but I know to be up late is to be up late.
A false conclusion. I hate it as an unfilled can. To be up after midnight and go to bed then is early. So to go to bed after midnight is to go to bed betimes. Does not our life consist of the four elements?
Faith, so they say, but I think it rather consists of eating and drinking.
Thou art a scholar. Let us therefore eat and drink. Marian, I say, a stoup of wine.
Here comes the fool, Faith.
Ah, now, mine hearts, did you never see the picture of we three?
Welcome, ass. No, let's have a catch.
By my truth, the fool has an excellent breast and and I had rather than 40 shillings, I had such a leg and so sweet a breath to sing as the fool has. In sooth, thou wast in very gracious fooling last night when thou spokest of Pigrodromatus, the Vapians passing the equinoctial of Quibus. 'Twas very good, in fact. I sent this sixpence for thy lemon, hast thee?
Oh, I did impeticos thy gratidity, for Malvolio's nose is no whipstock, my lady has a white hand, and the myrmidons are no bottle ale houses.
Excellent! Right, this is the best fooling when all is done. Now a song.
Come on, there's sixpence for you. Let's have a song.
Yeah, and there's a testicle for me too. If one night give...
Will you have a love song, or a song of good life?
A love song! A love song!
I care not for good life.
Mistress mine, where are you roaming? Oh, stay and hear your true love's coming, that can sing both high and low. Trip no further, pretty sweeting, journeys end in lovers' meeting. Every wise man's son doth know.
Excellent, good effect.
Good! Good!
What is loved is not hereafter. Present mirth hath present laughter. What's to come is still unsure. In delay there lies no plenty. Then come kiss me, sweet and 20. Youth's her stuff will not endure.
A mellifluous voice, as I am true knight.
A contagious breath.
Very sweet and contagious, if a...
Here by the nose, it is dulcet and contagious. Shall we make the welkin dance indeed? Shall we rouse the night owl in a catch that will draw 3 souls out of 1 weaver? Shall we do that?
And we love me, let's do it! I'm a dog and a cat!
Where ladies err, some dogs will catch well.
Most certain, let your catch be, thou knave, thou knave.
Hold thy peace, thou knave knight. I shall be constrained to call thee knave knight.
'Tis not the first time I've been constrained one to call me knave. Begin, for it begins, hold thy peace.
Well, I shall never begin if I hold my peace.
Good, faith, come begin.
Hold thy peace, I prithee, hold thy peace, thou.
Hold
my peace. Hold my peace. I prithee, hold my peace. Hold my peace. I prithee, hold my peace. Hold my peace. Hold my peace.
Hold my peace.
Next. Right, Captain, now.
Oh, does she? Oh, good Lord. What did she say?
What a cat.
What a caterwauling do you keep here? If my lady had not called up her steward Malvolio and bid him turn you out of doors, never trust thee.
My ladies, a Catayan, we are politicians. Malvolio's a Pegger Ramsay, and 3 merry men be we. Am not I consanguineous? Am I not of her blood? Tilly Valley, lady! There dwelt a man in Babylon. Lady.
Beshrew me, the knight's inadmirable fooling.
Nay, he does well enough if he be so disposed, and so do I. He does it with better grace, but I do it more natural.
Oh, the 12th day of December.
For the love of God, peace!
My masters, are you mad? Well, what are you? Have you no wit, manners, or honesty, but to gabble like tinkers at this time of night? Do you wake an alehouse of my lady's house, that you squeak out your cosiest catches without any mitigation or remorse of voice? Is there no respect of persons, place, nor time in you? We did keep time, sir. In our catches. Snack up! Does thou think because thou art virtuous, there shall be no more cakes and ale?
You see, they can still do it. I had it out the scripts literally at 2:15 this afternoon. We're going to have a little quiz in a moment, but to introduce it, I think we need a little musical introduction. Stefan, would you and Robert oblige with something to get us in the mood for the quiz?
Well, Stefan and I have performed all this. We've had a royal appointment to perform because it was Gyles' idea that I do a duet on my own. And Gyles, I've been looking for any 12th Night reference in this, so there is you one. But apparently Tom Littler has now found it, but it's too late. I've got a stage in front of me.
You know, girls today in society go for classical poetry. To win their hearts, you must quote with ease Aeschylus and Euripides. Yeah, a bit of Greece, good luck. You must know Homer, and believe me, Bo, Sophocles and Sappho. Ho. Unless you know Shelley, Keats, and Pope, beautiful girls will call you a dope. But the poet or the law would have them simply raving. is the bullet they call the Boy of Stratford-upon-Avon. So, brush up your Shakespeare. Start quoting him now. Brush up your Shakespeare, and your lover you will wow. Just reclaim a few lines from Othello, and she'll think you're one hell of a fella. If your blonde won't respond when you flatter her, tell her what Tony told Cleopatra. Thanks for her clothes you unbutton. What a clothes? Come on, what you do about nothing? Brush up your Shakespeare, and they'll all kowtow. So, brush up your Shakespeare, start quoting him now. Brush up your Shakespeare.
Oh, for a muse of fire, and would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene.
And your lover you will wow.
It's quiz time now. We bring the afternoon towards its climax with a quiz, and this is something that everybody can take part in. There are going to be two teams. There's going to be Sir Toby and the lighter people, who is going to be this half of the theatre from here onwards. Around it, you're Sir Toby and the lighter people. The audience can help you with the answers if you don't know them yourselves. And Orsino, here you are, Orsino.
Hello.
You, Orsino in the court, you are this side here. All right, so that's that side, and we're this side. And I think, because the audience can participate, we should train them with Sir Donald's warm-up.
Right.
Okay. Judi is very familiar with this. Sir Donald Sinden reminded us that when it comes to diction, vowels are what give you volume, and it's consonants that give you clarity. And so when you're contributing, make sure you get the volume right with the consonants and the clarity right with the... No, it's the other way around. Because it's difficult to remember, Sir Donald gave us a mantra, didn't he? And can you remember how it goes?
You can remember.
I will give it once, and then we'll all do it together, and then you can say when you go home, oh, I did a warm-up once with Judi Dench. This is Sir Donald's own idea, and it really worked for him because his diction was marvellous. It goes like this. You breathe in, and you say it in front of the mirror before any performance. You go, hip-bar, yes, lavatory, lavatory, bidet, bidet, douche. Stand up for this, please. So we can all see you now. Everybody, tummies in, shoulders down, relax and enjoy this. Think of Sir Donald singing. Think of the ultimate production of our lifetime of Twelfth Night, which was certainly the one, I think, with Jude and Sir Donald. And feel it and just do it. Vowels for volume, consonants for clarity, and take it away, then Judi. 1, 2, 3.
Hip-bar, lavatory, lavatory, bidet, bidet, douche.
Stefan, you are keeping the score, okay? If they get the answer right straight away, it's 1 point. If they have to pass it to the other team, then the other team gets the point, all right? And the audience, if you think you know the answers on call out, I think I know, and we will come to you, all right? You are the team captain, okay, on this side. So, Penelope, you're on this team. No, you're right, of course, you're the liar.
Yeah.
I've noticed you holding hands with him. Is there going to be a surprise finish?
There's always been a surprise.
Oh, this is the charm. I may get my camera out to take a picture of it. This is the announcement we all wanted. As far as this Sebastian is concerned, it is a surprise. So, let's run through these questions quickly. We'll start with your team, Orsino, then we go to Sir Toby's team. The full title of the play is Twelfth Night or What You Will? Which other plays by Shakespeare have a subtitle? Okay, you can ask any of your team or ask the audience.
Any thoughts? No, we've got a 0 up here, none of them.
What is the answer?
Does anyone disagree with them?
Yeah. That's one word.
Much.
From 12 Night.
What's the...
What is the answer you're offering?
One other.
Wrong! So, this team has a chance. Yes?
Henry VIII.
Oh, have you consulted with your colleagues?
You know.
I would do that. I would do that because this item came up on QI in 1993. What do you think the answer is?
I don't know what counts as a subtitle. I mean, does Prince of Tyre count as a subtitle? But it, so it's like Pericles, more of Venice as well.
These are that are the name of the character.
Yeah.
So I think you're right to say.
Ooh. What did it say?
I thought I heard you saying it earlier.
Oh, Henry VIII, yes.
Wrong!
Wrong.
Officially, none. Because it's Twelfth Night or What You Will. The others are full titles. Yeah. So it is a subtitle. Okay? So no points there. But this team should get right, okay? The Baker Street Irregulars. Okay, these are fans of Sherlock Holmes. They believe Sherlock Holmes' birthday is the 6th of January. Why? This, I over-explained that Stephen is a word orthodontist. When we appeared together on Celebrity Mastermind some years ago, yeah, exactly, which I won, with the answer to this question, which is why I'm trying to help you out. Well, the actual answer. It is a Shakespearean question. It's to do with Twelfth Night.
Oh.
Do you other side want to have a go? Anyone got an idea?
Christy stick.
Yes?
No, go on. 12, no?
Okay, spit it out. Go for it.
Because it was published on the 6th of January?
No, Twelfth Night wasn't published on the 6th of January. First performance on the 2nd of February, which is Candlemas, and I'll give you the answer. Holmes quotes twice from Twelfth Night in the canon.
He does.
He only quotes other plays once. So it's considered to be a special. All right, over here. The quiz is going so well. Let's have some snappy answers now. Which Agatha Christie 1940 murder mystery takes its title from Twelfth Night? 1940 Agatha Christie murder mystery.
And then there was...
And then there was none, I think not. But I'm glad you put it that way. Sad.
Cyprus!
Well done, you get a point.
Sorry, kid.
Sad Cyprus. I think we're going to speed this up. We're going to have to do quickie questions, okay? A stage musical based on Twelfth Night, composed in 1907 by a composer who shares a name with a pop singer who has just turned 90. First answer. Yes, Humperdinck from those two. Engelbert Humperdinck. Yes. In 1937, an adaptation of Twelfth Night was performed on the CBS Radio Playhouse. Tallulah Bankhead was Viola, who played Orsino. Correct. Well done. Okay.
And you're keeping score.
On the 14th of May 1937, and some of us were there, the BBC television service in London broadcast an excerpt of the play, the first known instance of a work of Shakespeare being performed on television, Who Played Viola? An Anglo-American actress, the 4th most nominated woman for an Oscar. The answer isn't you. Close, Marlowe Robert is right. No. No. Anglo-American. The answer is she appeared in Pride and Prejudice opposite Laurence Olivier. Greer Garson.
She's Irish. Irish, not Anglo. Yeah.
VAR. You got the answer right anyway. So. All right. The entire play was produced for television in 1939, directed by Michel Saint-Denis. Oops. Yeah, I know, we haven't got time for that story. It's one of her best, but it'll have to be for another day. So the question is now rather less interesting. But anyway. It starred another future Oscar winner. Who was she? 1939. We mentioned her name already. The answer is...
Peggy Ashcroft.
Correct! Peggy Ashcroft, okay. Oh, I think we have to have this story. I'm so sorry. We do have to have this. In the television production, 1969, Alec Guinness was Malvolio, Ralph Richardson was Toby Belch. Who played Feste?
Tommy Steele.
Hey!
I'll just tell you my Alec Guinness story, because occasionally used to have lunch with him at the Connaught, and I was late on one occasion to have lunch, and Alec did not look kindly on lateness, and he'd be doing the crossword while waiting for me. He said, "You can finish the crossword." So I got a few, and he said, "Oh, you're very good at anagrams." And I said, "Well, yeah, I can do so." "Oh," I said, I thought of an anagram of your name." He said, "I hope it's not the same one you've given Alan Bates, whom I call Anal Beast." I was able to say, "No, this is genuinely, this is a real anagram of your name. It is genuine class." Oh. He looked at it and said, "Is it?" He took out a pencil. "I shall remember you in my will." Unfortunately, he didn't, and given that 2% of Star Wars, which is like 100 million.
Bonus there for brilliant anecdote. But maybe bonus coming up here, because you appeared with Tommy Steele, as I remember, in She Stoops to Conquer.
I did.
And
I did at the Old Vic.
At the Old Vic.
At the Old Vic, and it was at the kind of height of his fame. And somebody, while we were there, wrote him a letter. And Ernie Davis, who was the stage doorman at the Vic, from long before I went in 57, he loved this letter so much that Tommy gave it to him. And this person said in the letter, Tommy Steele, who was playing Tony Lumpkin, he said, "Dear Mr. Steele, I'm coming with my aunt on Tuesday, the 21st of October, to see Stoops to Conquer. Could you insert Little White Bull?"
What is the score at the end of that?
Who cares? Orsino and the Court have 3, but Sir Toby and the Lighty People have 5.
The point is, at the end of the day, we are all in favour of cakes and ale. So I'm glad that Sir Toby and the Lighty People have won. We're coming towards the end, and I think we should have 3 special moments now before we all bid farewell to one another. Andy, would you feel like singing us a little number?
Oh, blimey.
Would you, Bob? Little musical moment, you're rather nice for you.
When that I was a little tiny boy, with hey-ho, the wind and the rain, a foolish thing was but a toy, for the rain, it raineth every day. With hey-ho, the wind and the rain, for the rain, it raineth every day.
The weather is frightening, the thunder and lightning seem to be having their way. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a lovely day.
The wind and the weather have brought us together, so I can honestly say that as far as I'm concerned, it's a lovely day.
And everything's okay. Isn't this a lovely day to be caught in the rain?
You are going on your way, now you've got to remain.
Just as you were going, leaving me all at sea. The clouds broke, they broke, and oh, what a break for me. I can see the sun up high, though we're caught in a storm.
I can see where you and I could be cozy and warm.
Let the rain pitter patter, 'cause it really doesn't matter if the skies are grey. As long as I can be with you, it's a lovely day.
Dance break.
Let the rain pitter patter, 'cause it really doesn't matter if the skies are grey. As long as I can be with you, it's a lovely day. As long as I can be with you, it's a lovely day.
For the rain, it raineth every day.
Fabulous. Thank you both for that. We're coming towards the end now. Stephen, remind us actually why we're here, why we're trying to raise all this money.
Aside from the fact that this is a glorious theatre and is probably the only reason I would ever make a river crossing, it is. And they do wonderful things here with children coming and introducing them to theatre and to Shakespeare. And this has become rarer and rarer. The RSC doesn't do it anymore. Nobody seems to be doing it anymore. It's been decided somehow in that peculiar way that things are decided that Shakespeare shouldn't any longer be offered to children as something for them to discover and enjoy. The result of which will be, of course, is that Shakespeare will become nothing but elitist, that dread word that people use of Shakespeare, which couldn't be less appropriate. There was never anyone who brought people of all classes, sorts and conditions together in the way that Shakespeare does, both for audiences and in the nature of the personalities that he dramatizes and the stories he tells us. And it is heartbreaking to think that not enough children now. We all have a friend, I'm sure there's one that I know Judi and I share, boy from Belfast who was introduced to Shakespeare when he was very young, was so inflamed with love for this extraordinary world that he discovered, the language and the people in it, that he would save up money and get himself on a ferry and go to the RSC when he was just a small boy. That's Ken Branagh. He's just one example of what happens when Shakespeare is introduced to you. It's a lifelong love affair, as we know, and it's marvellous that this theatre, this Orange Tree, still continues to do that. Over 10,000 children have passed through in this thing. And there's one story that I looked at here, which I thought was just enchanting. There was a boy, a tiny little boy, like the song probably. He came to see Hamlet on stage here last year. And he was a boy who was often in trouble in school and was excluded and didn't like a lot of the events that he was forced to engage in. But he came and saw Hamlet and was absolutely overwhelmed by it. And he was so moved by the to be or not to be speech that he actually called out to Hamlet. He said, "Don't give up on yourself." Wonderfully, the actor gave him a high five. It was enchanting and exactly what the play does to you, and an example of why it's so important that this theatre carries on its fantastic work. So congratulations to the theatre and congratulations and thanks to all of you for being so supportive of it.
have enjoyed it twice as much as you expected to, feel free to go home and pay all over again. There is a QR code on the back of your programs, and any money will be gratefully received and brilliantly used. I'd love 2 more speeches and then maybe 1 more song. Stephen, the end. There's darkness as well as light in this play. The end of Malvolio's "Man, you have done me wrong." Could you read that for us? Do you have it in your head?
I don't have it entirely in my head, but I have it prepared for you. You did mention, could I? Yes, he's the one dark note in the play, as you say. I'll be revenged on the whole pack of you of his last lines. You remember, a little like the silence of Antonio at the end of The Tempest, isn't it? It's just that little one note of darkness. And of course, anyone who plays Malvolio believes this. It's so unfair on the poor man. Madam, you have done me wrong, notorious wrong. Lady, you have. Pray you, peruse that letter. You must not now deny it is your hand. Write from it, if you can, in hand or phrase, or say it is not your seal, nor your invention. You can say none of this. Well, grant it then, and tell me in the modesty of honour why you have given me such clear lights of favour, bade me come smiling and cross-gartered to you, to put on yellow stockings, and to frown upon Sir Toby and the lighter people, and acting this in an obedient hope. Why have you suffered me to be imprisoned, kept in a dark house, visited by the priest, and made the most notorious geck and gull that e'er invention played on? Tell me why. That's really it.
You'll remember right at the beginning of the play, Malvolio is sent by Olivia, who's suddenly become enraptured of Cesario, with a ring that Olivia is pretending Cesario gave her. And she sends Malvolio to chase after Violet to return the ring, which Violet denies having given and doesn't want. And he throws it on the ground and says, you know, there it is. If you want it, take it. If not, be it his who finds it. And then Violet wonders what's happened.
I'd have no ring with her. What means this, lady? Fortune forbid. My outside have not charmed her. She made good view of me. Indeed, so much that sure methought her eyes had lost her tongue, for she did speak in starts, distractedly. She loves me, sure. The cunning of her passion invites me in this churlish messenger, none of my lord's ring. Why, he sent her none. I am the man. If it be so as 'tis, poor lady, she were better love a dream. Disguise. I see thou art a wickedness wherein the pregnant enemy does much. How easy is it for the proper false in women's waxen hearts to set their faults. Alas, our frailty is the cause, not we. For such as we are made on, such we be. How will this fetch? My master loves her dearly, and I, poor monster, fond as much on him, and she mistaken seems to dote on me. What will become of this? As I am man, my state is desperate for my master's love. As I am woman, now alas the day, what thriftless sighs shall poor Olivia breathe? Oh, time, thou must untangle this, not I. 'Tis too hard a knot for me to untie.
think you may be tempted to give 3 times as much. Would the cast please gather round the piano and maybe face the audience, because Stefan's going to give us a song all to sing together. Jude, can you come and join us here?
So just to finish, we'll have a quick rehearsal. The last verse of the last song that Festo sings in the whole play. We'll do it all together. It's just 4 lines. First one. A great while ago the world began. All the audience, please. 2, 3.
A great while ago the world began.
With hey ho, the wind and the rain.
With hey ho, the wind and the rain.
And the last 3 together. But that's all one, our play is done, and we'll strive to please you every day. So the last line is rallentando, which is Italian for milk it. So the last 3 are, that's all one, our play is done, and we'll strive to please you every day. Okay, so cast and audience together.
A great while ago the world began. With hey ho, the wind and the rain. But that's all one, our play is done, and we'll strive to please you every day.
Well done.